is kind of calm, just 4 miles per hour. Forecast partly cloudy, no precipitation in the forecast this afternoon. And the head coaches are close friends. Wade Phillips on the right hired Jim Fossil in Denver as his offensive coordinator when Wade was the head coach there for 2 years. And they stay in touch, and Wade was very happy about Jim. Went down to a roast over the summer. Jim took him on the boat.
Oh, he's happy to hear that he's kept his job. He said,
right.
I'm glad he's got job security, because that's a nice time going down to New York City and going out on Jim's boat and up the East River. I saw the stock exchange and having a good time down there.
They didn't speak this week, but he said the wives spoke by phone. The Buffalo Bills are 8-4, second in the AFC East. Their last game was a 17-7 win over the New England Patriots 2 weeks ago. The Giants coming off the big win over the Jets, 41-28. Steve Christie to kick off. Bashir Livingston and David Patton are deep for the Giants. And we're underway in Buffalo. Here's Livingston at the 7. And he is hit and brought down at the 31-yard line. Sean Moran, number 98, made the tackle. Kerry Collins, his 4th start of the season, coming off a terrific week last week. 3 touchdown passes, 341 yards. Derek Engler starts at center for the injured Brian Williams. Mike Rosenthal, the rookie at left guard, has played well. In the backfield, Joe Montgomery and Greg Camello. The wide receivers, Ike Hilliard and Amani Toomer. Howard Cross is the tight end. We'll see a lot of Pete Mitchell, the receiving tight end.
That Derek Engler's going to have hands full today with Big Ted Washington on the nose.
The play fake by Collins, outside, and the grab made by Ike Hilliard up at the 39-yard line. Hilliard had his 3rd 100-yard receiving game last week. For the Bills, they play at 3-4, and the big load is in the middle, Ted Washington, but the Hall of Famer Bruce Smith has 5 sacks, as does Phil Hansen. The linebackers are good and fast, and Sam Cowart, the second-year man, has made a big difference for this defense. The quarterbacks, Thomas Smith and Ken Irvin. Henry Jones and Kurt Schultz are the safeties. On second down, it's Joe Montgomery. He's got a first down up across the 45-yard line. Sam Cowart, number 56, made the tackle. Cowart is the leading tackler on this squad. Just his 2nd year. He started 11 games last year, and they actually switched over to the 3-4 because he was playing so well.
And well, when you have good linebackers, and a lot of linebackers, you go to your strength. You play to their strength. And that's getting those guys on the field. There's Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator for the Bills, that implemented this. And for the Giants, they get the luxury of facing the 2nd odd front in the week. The Jets had the same thing.
Montgomery trying to pick his way through a hole, got about a yard on the play. The strong safety Henry Jones came up to make the tackle.
And I think for the Giants, that's going to be the big test, is Joe Montgomery. Can they get some yards on the ground? Now, it doesn't have to have a big day, but they have to set up 3rd and short. They get 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, manageable 3rd down situations from the run game. That's how they can be successful.
Giants have 2 tight ends in there. Cross and Mitchell both go to the right side. Montgomery the lone setback. On second down, Collins short drop. Tried to hit Howard Cross. He was covered by John Holosack. And Kerry Collins talked about, as did head coach Jim Fossil, not trying to make the high-risk play against the Buffalo Bills.
Well, one of the things Kerry talked about, too, was he had to be patient, you know. And for today, it's don't hurry Kerry. He's got to keep reminding himself, you know, because right there, he threw the ball before Howard Cross even got turned around out of the break, and it hit him on the shoulder as soon as he turned around. He needs to be patient with this Buffalo Bills zone defense and let his receivers find the opening in the zone.
3 wide receivers, 2 backs for the Giants, 6 defensive backs for the Bills. On 3rd down, Collins has time, going deep for Toomer. He was bumped by Ken Irvin, but it's incomplete. Toomer gets up complaining that Ken Irvin bumped him on the play, but no flag, and the Giants are forced to punt.
Well, he throws the fade down the sidelines, and Ken Irvin and Amani just got tied up. Their feet got tied up. That's just incidental contact. That's, you know, when they get bumping each other and your feet get tied up, that's not pass interference.
Brad Maynard Kicks it away. Kevin Williams watches it head for the sideline and out of bounds. And we'll see where the spot is made. It's at the 13-yard line. A good punt for Brad Maynard. And Doug Flutie leads the Bills onto the field. You see his record as a starter. 24-12 in his NFL career. Marcus Spriggs is starting for the injured Robert Hicks at right tackle. Sam Gash just the blocking fullback. For Antoine Smith, Eric Moulds and Andre Reed, the wideouts, and Bobby Collins playing for the injured Jay Remersmer. Collins, a rookie, starting at tight end. Flutie to throw on first down and puts it up deep as they challenge right away from Moulds. He's got it. He beat Emmanuel McDaniel on the play, and the Bills come out challenging the Giants cornerback situation. First NFL start for Emmanuel McDaniel.
John Fox knew it. He said they know they're going to test us early. They give it a little zone blitz. Here comes Armstead on the outside. They get in zone too deep over the top, and he sees the man coverage down the side, and he takes his shot. And they knew it. You know, they said they know they're going to test us early at the corners. And who wouldn't? You got two new guys in there playing. You got to test them, see what they're about.
First down up to 49. Beautiful throw, beautiful grab. Now Flutie checking off at the line of scrimmage. Antoine Smith just powering his way down to the 45-yard line, led by Sam Gash. Sam Gash doesn't carry the ball. He's the lead fullback in his second year with the Bills after 6 years with New England. He just powers his way in front of the runner.
Well, what do they say? He was a tailback in college, but he ate himself down to a fullback. and a great fullback. You know, the guy's going to be a Pro Bowl fullback. He gets a chance to go to the Pro Bowl without any carries. What kind of running back goes to the Pro Bowl without any carries? A guy named Sam Gash.
Here's Antoine Smith cutting it back, but he was upended by Jesse Armstead. Great tackle by Jesse Armstead, the leading tackler on the Giants. Check out the Giants defense. They're hurting. Michael Strahan's been bothered by a knee problem. He already has been replaced by Bernard Holsey. The linebackers, Pete Monty is starting in place of Corey Widmer, but Widmer will play. And the quarterbacks, that's the big question mark for the Giants this afternoon. There is Jeremy Lincoln. He's starting for Jason Sehorn. And Emmanuel McDaniel in for Philippi Sparks, who is dressed, but has missed the last couple of weeks and has been bothered by the flu this week. Out of the shotgun on third down. And a completion to Kevin Williams for a first down at the Giants' 36-yard line. Bills went with a 4 wide receiver set. Kevin Williams makes the grab.
Well, they take the receivers on that side, Bobby Collins, and they run down the field. They clear out, and they bring Kevin Williams down underneath for an easy completion. That's just coming under the traffic when you carry the defense down the field with you.
Two tight ends in for Buffalo. In motion is Sheldon Jackson. Flutie with plenty of time. Drops it off. Almost intercepted by Pete Monty. Off his hands. It was intended for Sheldon Jackson, the tight end, who went in motion.
Well, he's looking for the Jackson, the tight end, over the top. And you see the pressure in his face by Keith Hamilton. Flutie actually steps over to the side after he released that ball. I don't think he ever saw Pete Monty. He saw Sheldon Jackson, but I don't think he saw Pete Monty, the linebacker, underneath. Very lucky to get away with that one.
There's number 34, Thurman Thomas, back for the first time since opening day when he suffered a bruised liver and bruised kidney. Thomas carrying. Slipped one man, gets down to the 31-yard line. Ryan Phillips, number 91, took him down. Pick up a 5 for Thurman Thomas. Been a long time off for the all-time leading rusher and second all-time leading receiver in Buffalo Bills history.
Well, the first game of the season. If you take the bye and everything accumulated, that was 14 weeks ago.
Tyrone Poole hit him on the pass. First play from scrimmage for the Bills.
And what an asset it's going to be for the Bills to have him back in December and through the stretch run.
4 wide receivers in for Buffalo.
No backs in the backfield. This is the spread formation.
Flutie gets time, and again almost intercepted. Jesse Armstead had it go in and out of his arms, but it brings up a 4th down for Buffalo. And Steve Christie will come on to attempt a field goal.
You see Doug came off. He raised his eyebrows and then he said sorry. I mean, he knew that was a bad throw. There was 3 Giant defenders right in the vicinity where he threw that ball.
Christie is 20 for 27 along this season of 52 yards. This will be a 50-yard attempt. Chris Moore, the holder. Christie puts it on the way, and it is good. So the Bills score first. Steve Christie with a 50-yarder. And the Bills lead the Giants 3-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
Back in Buffalo, man, that's an interesting paint job, huh? That had to take a long time to do that. Wow.
I'll let you handle that one.
Christie to kick off. Line drives it down to Bashir Livingston at the 8. Livingston is brought down at the 30-yard line. Once again, it's Sean Moran, his 2nd special teams tackle. Giants on offense when we come back. 93, a 100-yard rusher, and 2 100-yard receivers. Joe Montgomery, the rookie, at the running back position. 2 tight ends, 2 wide outs. Collins under pressure, completes to Mitchell. Mitchell up at the 40-yard line, knocked out of bounds by the strong safety Kurt Schultz at the 39. Mitchell was bothered by an ankle sprain, did not practice until Friday, but he is very important in the offensive plans for the Giants.
You know, last week I said that I thought his greatest attribute was his accuracy. Watch here on the bootleg and watch the pressure outside. Right in the face of pressure, and he delivers the ball. And that's key, and that's something he hasn't always done throughout his young career.
On 2nd down, Montgomery across the 40 for a 1st down. Time for an update on the Redskins and the Cardinals. Let's go to the studio to JB.
Sam and Bill, underutilized last week. Washington running back Stephen Davis breaks out strong here. Gaping hole, 50 yards to pay dirt. 63 of the Skins at 67 yards on their opening drive. Credited to Stephen Davis. They're up by 7. Back to Sam Rosen and Bill Moss.
Thanks, JB. See the Cardinals' 4-game winning streak. They're 6-6. Redskins lead the division at 7-5. Hilliard in motion on 1st down. Montgomery pushes his way forward for a couple of yards. Ted Washington, number 92, who has had over 100 tackles 3 consecutive seasons. His number's down a little because they use a lot of line rotation. But that is a large man. He says as long as his performance is good, the scale does not come into play.
That right there, that's an 8-year-old. You know what? To have 100 tackles for 3 years in a row playing nose tackle, that's really dominant. And that's special. I played that position in there, and that is dominating the inside if you can come up with that many tackles from the nose position.
Collins sending it outside to Tiki Barber. Barber's got a 1st down and a lot more. Down the sideline, he is ridden out of bounds by Henry Jones. Inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. Just a little screen pass that worked beautifully for the Giants.
Well, you have to know when Tiki Barber's in the game, they're going to do something with him. They're not in there to pound the ball with him. There's Tiki. They come out. Now, here's the lineman coming upfield. There's the screen. And here's the blockers downfield. And Barber in open field, when you get him the ball in open field, that's his strength. Create some space for Tiki Barber and let him pick up some yards for you. Nice play calling by Sean Payton. And they're keeping Buffalo off balance.
Barber in motion on 1st down. Cut it inside, got about 2 on the play. The previous pickup was 27 yards on the screen pass. Pat Williams, number 93, who's in at nose tackle now for Ted Washington, made the tackle on Barber. Picked up 2 on the play.
You know, Sean Payton is now the play caller for Jim Fossil. That was delegated to him. See, he carries the card now. And he's the one talking to Kerry Collins, and they passed the card from Jim Fossil. I want to know if that's the same card, though. Or did Sean Payton make up a new card?
He probably made up his own card. Flags fly, they blow the play dead. Looks like a false start against the Giants.
And I think as a head coach, it's very tough.
False start. 74 offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's Scott Gregg called on the false start. Bernie Kukar is our referee today.
Well, Jim's got a card, so it's a copied card. See, Jim's got a card too, and Sean has a card. But I think it's real hard for a head coach to be a head coach and oversee the whole entire field and get a feel for what's going on when you're concentrating on your offense. Mike Holmgren said it. He said, when I was an offense coordinator, I used to just go downfield.
On 2nd and 13, Montgomery with a short pickup back to the 29-yard line. It's Pat Williams again in on the stop. Second-year man out of Texas A&M, and a good rotation on the defensive line for the Bills.
Well, they rotate them up. Marcellus Wiley's in here, and Sean Moran's in here, and there's Pat Williams. Pat Williams is a big guy, too, but a little bit more mobile than Ted Washington. They really like this youngster out of Texas A&M, and they get the rotation going through that line, and there's not a noticeable drop-off. So they can do it more, and where it helps out is in the fourth quarter. Phil Hansen's fresher, and old Bruce Smith is fresher.
3 wide receivers. Giants have to get to the 19 for a first down. Complete to David Patton. Picked up 5 on the play. And brought down by Antoine Winfield, the first-round draft pick out of Ohio State. Took him down at the 24-yard line.
Boy, what a nice pickup. Watch Tiki Barber step in here. The little guy stepping in and hitting Kurt Schultz on the blitz. Bam! He just stones him, and that gives Collins time.
Giants now will go for the field goal.
You know, when you're down here kicking in Buffalo, any yardage helps when you have to line up and kick a field goal.
This will be a 41-yard attempt. Maynard the holder. Blanchard is good and ties the game. Blanchard now 10 for 11. And the game tied. A field goal for Christie, a field goal for Blanchard. 3-3 the score. 7th sellout this season, 8th consecutive sellout for the Bills. 80,000 here at Ralph Wilson Stadium to see the Bills and the Giants meet for the first time here in Buffalo since 1993. First meeting between these two teams since 1996. That's Kevin Williams deep to receive the kickoff of Cary Blanchard. Blanchard with a line drive that is taken up short by Darrell Porter, defensive back, gets up to the 30, where he's brought down by Reggie Stevens. The Giants just activated the rookie defensive back out of Rutgers, and he makes the special teams tackle. 3-3 is the score.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Original Coors. Expect more from an original Coors. By Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be. By 800.com, everything you've always wanted from an electronics store and more. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste.
How about these guys? No,
yeah.
See, when it's 43 in Buffalo, that's suntan weather. I mean, they come out. I saw people with convertibles, a few people swimming. 43 is nice in Buffalo.
There's a casino nearby. I think those guys lost their shirts at the casino.
Are you out there?
From the 33, not me. Antoine Smith, no hole. Giants plug it up and bring him down for no gain. Michael Strahan is back in. He went to the sideline in the previous series to get his wrist taped.
You know, he had that Baker's cyst on his knee, and it broke last week in the game. And Sunday night he went out to dinner with his wife, and the pain got so great they actually had to call an ambulance. Hey, take him to the hospital. He wasn't sure what it was. And I saw him in the locker room. I said, you know the old wives' tale about Baker's cyst? You have to bang a Bible on it, and then it heals it. It's okay.
3 wide receivers in for Buffalo. Thurman Thomas, the lone setback. The play fake. Flutie wants to go deep, and he's got a man. It's incomplete. Fearless Price was wide open. The rookie out of Tennessee had a couple of steps on Sean Williams.
You know, maybe that bye week wasn't such a great thing scheduled this late, because look, they just seem a little bit off. Peerless Price was wide open down the field. That was just a poorly thrown ball.
And Sean Williams, his first game back from a hamstring injury, still testing it to see if it's 100%. And I don't know if he ran all that well on that coverage. 3rd and 11 for the Bills. Flutie getting pressure, gets rid of it and completes to Thurman Thomas. Broke the tackle, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down. Sean Williams brought him down, but an excellent job by Thurman Thomas.
That's where he's going to be helpful down the stretch. 3rd down situations, out of the backfield, catching the ball, and knowing what's going on with everything else. This guy's been around this offense for a while. You can see his effort and knowledge on how to get open. If there's a pass protection breakdown, or he corrects Doug in the huddle. Doug messes up something. He says, no, Doug, it goes like this. The guy's been around it a long time, and he's going to help down the stretch.
From the 44, blitz coming. They pick it up. Flutie going deep again. And it's incomplete. Intended for Peerless Price. This time he was covered on the near side by Jeremy Lincoln. Price wanted a flag, but no flag coming from the official.
Lincoln was there, and Garnes came over the top as well. And this is just a go route. And right here, he's forced to the inside, but here's the safety over the top, and the ball is thrown out here to the sidelines. See, Lincoln kept him inside the whole time, and the ball was thrown on that go route to the outside, and that's where you want to throw the ball. Nice job by Lincoln of keeping that receiver inside where he couldn't get to the sideline.
2nd and 10. Collins, the tight end, in motion. The toss to Thurman Thomas. And the Giants stop him. Picked up about a yard on the play. Scott Gagnon came in to make the tackle.
The Bills, we were speaking about that bye week they just had. You know, normally last year, the bye weeks were always done by the halfway year point, about by week 8. But now with 31 teams, they have them, and they're still going on. And in December to have a bye week, that's kind of tough, especially when you're clicking. These guys all went home and they spent time with their family. Then they all come back with the flu.
But they say they have fresh legs, too. That's the positive side of it for the last month, a 4-week push for the playoffs. Here's 3rd and long. Flutie with plenty of time throws to Peerless Price.
We got a flag.
We have a flag down in the backfield. One official overrules the other on the catch. It's incomplete. And illegal hands to the face against the Bills. The first official had ruled the catch made. Then a second official came in and said it hit the ground.
Illegal use of hands. 69 offense. Hands to the face. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's Marcus Spriggs.
Yeah, he's working over there against Michael Strahan right here. There's big Marcus. Those hands go right to the face, and they stay there.
Spriggs starting for the injured Robert Hicks, who's about a week away. Chris Moore has got great hang time. The overall yardage has not been good. High kick coming down to Tiki Barber. Waits for a fair catch at the 13. And is a little upset with himself as he looked up. He saw he had some room.
Yep.
The Giants, from their own 13, go on offense in a 3-3 game. Buffalo Bills have given up the fewest points at home this season. 6 games, 54 points coming into play today. Another 3 today as you look at Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator. The problem for the Bills is they may not get a home game in the playoffs the way the race is shaping up in the AFC. Giants from the 13, Joe Montgomery with some power across the 15. Time to update the Eagles and the Cowboys. JB's got that.
Troy Aikman spread the ball around nicely on this 8-play, 60-yard drive, culminating with Chris Warren's 4-yard run. It's Dallas on top 7-3 in the first. Sam Rosen, Bill Moss.
Thanks, JB. Washington is 7-5. Arizona and Dallas 6-6. New England at 7-5, playing at the first place Indianapolis Colts. Bills play the Colts last game of the season. Joe Montgomery gets another couple of yards up close to the 19-yard line, and that'll bring up that 3rd and 5 or 6 situation that the Giants were talking about, the manageable 3rd downs.
You know, this odd defense 34 defense. Look at how much separation there is in here, and this guy's got to control the whole thing. And when he controls it, watch the freedom of the linebackers. Watch them come in here and close this thing up. That's a heck of a job by the nose tackle of dominating the middle.
3rd and 4. Rolling is Collins. Got rid of it to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Giants are now 0 for 3 on 3rd down attempts thus far in the game. They were 13 for 19 last week, their best game of the season. Brad Maynard in for his 2nd punt. Kevin Williams standing at his own 41. Maynard angles toward the sideline. Williams comes over, backpedals to the 30. Good punt by Maynard. Williams getting outside and a good return across midfield. Excellent return for Kevin Williams. 51-yard punt. There's a flag down.
Yeah, I think Buffalo might have had an illegal block here.
Bernie Kukar bringing the officials over for the discussion. Late 1st quarter.
Anytime you have a runner going across field and you have all the coverage guys coming back towards to get over there, you usually get an illegal block.
Larry McDuff, the special teams coach of the Giants. Bruce DeHaven, special teams coach of the Bills. There's the head man, Wade Phillips. And this is a long discussion on this. It's not just your average foul.
They were asking if they got change for $1 in there.
There is no fall on the play. The block was on the side and not in the back.
Well, here's the block they're talking about with Henry Jones. I guess it was on the side.
Well, Livingston said it was in the back.
It was on
the officials disagree.
It was on the side of the back of his numbers.
18-yard return. Jim Fossil checking it out with a head linesman, but the Bills from their own 48-yard line with Thurman Thomas, the lone setback. Andre Reed in motion. Thomas brought down immediately. There's Jesse Armstead.
As soon as that hole opened up on the offensive line, Jesse Armstead saw it and was there.
He is having his best season ever, and he's had some good ones before this one. Outstanding play for Jesse Armstead as we reach the end of the 1st quarter.
That is the end of the 1st quarter.
Steve Christie with a 50-yard field goal. Matched by Kerry Blanchard with a 42-yarder. 3-3 Giants and Bills. And the Bills are tied at 3. And the Bills from their own 46 on 2nd and 11. Pass dropped by Bobby Collins, the rookie tight end. Percy Ellsworth on the coverage. How about the absence of Jay Remersma? What does that do to the Buffalo Bills offense?
Well, you know, Jay is a guy that Doug Flutie really likes to go to. He controls the middle of the field. He really runs the seams well. He's a big, tall, physical target in the middle of the field, and he's a good blocker too. Plus, he's out there. He's a veteran. He knows these other 2 tight ends that come in are rookies. But all that aside, it doesn't really matter unless Doug Flutie gets sharp, because the balls he's thrown today thus far have not been on target.
Flutie is 1 for his last 7, 3 for 9 in the game. Sheldon Jackson now in at tight end, number 88. On 3rd and 11, Flutie being rushed. In trouble. The ball is knocked loose by Cedric Jones, and the Giants diving for it. Let's see who comes away with it. The Giants have it. Michael Strahan, but another good play by Cedric Jones, who has forced 4 fumbles in the last 3 games.
Here's Cedric Jones working up the top on John Fina. He gets the shoulder turn, Fina on the sidelines, and the depth of Flutie is a problem. As Flutie steps back to scramble instead of stepping up into the pocket, that big arc where the defensive end's coming around the top, he gets that swat on the arm.
Only the second takeaway for the Giants in the last 3 weeks. But this man, Cedric Jones,
he's turned
has
it on.
Really upped his game the last 3 weeks. 2 tight ends in for the Giants. The toss to Montgomery. Picks up a couple of blocks. Gets inside the 25. Phil Hansen, number 90, the 9th-year defensive end out of North Dakota State, made the tackle. Check out the numbers in the first quarter. Now the Bills not running the ball.
Yep.
And when they haven't run the ball in the past, they haven't been strong offensively.
That's when they struggle. Joe Pender, the offensive coordinator, he's a run-oriented guy. Every place he's ever stopped, and his stops in the NFL, he gets big yardage running the ball. And when they don't do that, their offense struggles.
On 2nd and 6, it's Montgomery with a good hole. And he breaks the tackle, gets down around the 10-yard line. Ken Irvin made the tackle, but the rookie Joe Montgomery with a strong run here.
Well, look at the blocking up here. See the separation between the tackle and the end and the outside linebacker? This is where it happens. Hansen gets turned in out there. Howard Cross gets the block outside, and see the separation? Huge.
Ball is spotted at the 10-yard line. It's 1st and goal. Montgomery going outside, and a great job by the Bills. Sam Rogers, number 59, coming up from the left outside linebacker position.
You see the linebackers. Bruce Smith comes inside, but watch Rogers string that out. See, that time he was outside. He stayed outside, and he strung out the block of Howard Cross and was able, when the ball bounced outside, to be there for containment.
Joe Montgomery lost his shoe, goes to the sideline. Tiki Barber has come in. Giants split the tight end Howard Cross way to the right side. Collins in trouble, and the pass was tipped and falls incomplete. The blitz up the middle from Sam Coward and Sam Rogers, the linebackers.
And this is what you need to do. Okay, first of all, you take Joe Montgomery out, so that's a problem. Now you bring in Tiki Barber, you line them up over here, so it's really an empty backfield with your wide receivers, so you bring the blitz. Always blitz when there's no backs in there to pick up the blitz, and there's the pressure. That's how you combat that. You always think, oh, we got 4 or 5 wide receiver sets. What are we going to do? You blitz them because there's not enough bodies on the offensive line to pick it up, and you got to get there.
3 wide receivers for the Giants plus Pete Mitchell. The Bills look like they jumped offside. Collins throws incomplete. Intended for Ike Hilliard, but the Giants going to get another play on this one.
What they're going to get, I believe, is a first down.
No, it was 3rd and goal.
Offside, 91 defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's 3rd and goal. They'll move the ball to the 6-yard line. Giants again bring in 3 wide receivers. They have Camella and Barber in the backfield. And handoff inside to Barber. And he's brought down at the 4-yard line by Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith still going strong. Now, the truth. Did he steal the Pro Bowl MVP from you? The truth.
I had better numbers that day.
Yeah.
Every time I got a sack, Bruce Smith threw his arms up in the air and beat his chest like he does.
So they gave it to him.
Yeah, he got it.
Still going strong.
We were talking about that the other day when we were out of practice.
15 years. What a great one. Blanchard to attempt a 22-yard field goal out of the hold of Brad Maynard. And it's through. Blanchard is 2 for 2. The Giants have taken the lead on the Buffalo Bills early in the 2nd quarter. The Giants cash in the turnover for 3 points and lead 6-3. They've lost Emmitt Smith in that game with a strained groin. He's out for the remainder of the game. The tight NFC East. Sam Gash, the fullback. Jonathan Linton, number 35, is in at the tailback spot. The Bills go from their own 28. Bobby Collins, the tight end, in motion. And everybody moving on both sides of the ball.
Ball start. 70 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
John Fina, the left tackle, the man called on the false start.
Well, the Giants came up there and they got down into that bare front where all three interior linemen are covered offensively. And Doug got up there and looked like he was checking the play, and he starts that snap count, and sometimes he hesitates. And not all of his offensive linemen are on the same page.
Gash shifts. Flutie waits. Nobody open. And on the move, he gets rid of it, incomplete, in the direction of the tight end, Bobby Collins. Let's check in on the Redskins in Arizona. JB, take it away.
Tough battle taking place in Landover. Brad Johnson finds Irving Fryer, who has 82 touchdowns in his career. That's his first with Washington. Washington up 14-3. Back to Sam and Big Bill.
Thanks, JB. Redskins looking like a first-place team at home
Right now?
Are you suggesting that could change if Jake the Snake starts one of his
Washington has a real good run game, and that's where Arizona, that's where they can beat Arizona. But, you know, their defense has been up and down this year, Sam.
Flutie only 1 for his last 8. Under pressure. That one is caught by Peerless Price up at the 30-yard line. Nice catch by Peerless Price, the rookie out of Tennessee.
Well, they like everything about this young Peerless Price. You know, that's why they brought him in here. Watch the concentration with McDaniel hanging on his back. And he tipped the ball, and he was going. He kept on that focus and concentration to pull the ball in. They like his speed. They like his acrobatic catches. But most of all, they like his mental state. I mean, he came in here, and he just fit in right away. He wasn't in all of anything, and the game's not too much for him, as they say.
3 wide receivers in for the Bills. They've got to get to the 38 for a first down. Everybody out. Flutie throwing and completing.
Nice grab by Molds.
Eric Molds makes the catch across the 40-yard line, giving Buffalo a first down.
Talk about going up and getting after the ball. You know, as a receiver, that's one of the things. Watch him come back and then go get it. When it's up in the air, go up and get that ball.
Leading receiver on the Bills, Eric Molds, with 2 catches thus far in the game.
He's been hampered a little bit by a muscle pull in his leg.
Gash and Linton are the running backs. Flutie off the plate. Look at Reed. Wide open is Andre Reed. Across the 30 and pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Andre Reed, who has gone over 13,000 yards in receiving in his NFL career. He is 5th all time.
Well, watch them stretch the defense down this way. Watch everybody come back. Now, inside, there's nobody underneath where Reed is. Safeties are deep. The corner's deep. They're playing a 3-deep zone, and underneath is no one.
Jerry Rice, James Lofton, Henry Ellard, Steve Largent, and Andre Reed. The top 5 in receiving yardage all time. Flutie. Pass is tipped and incomplete. Andre Reed is being slowly phased out as he is one of the older guys on the Buffalo Bills, and Peerless Price is the up-and-coming young receiver, but he's still a man who gets open over the middle, and those
he's not too far away,
receivers.
as you can see, and they may be fading him out, but he's not going to leave this league without leaving a say-so on what he did in his whole career here.
You're right about that. Flutie throws incomplete. There was pressure from the cornerback, Jeremy Lincoln. Giants seem to be throwing blitzes from all different angles.
Hey, John Fox is a master of blitzes from all different angles. And he'll find a way to bring everybody. And right now, it's got to be from the zone blitz package. It can't be all-out blitzes and man coverage because they don't have the personnel outside to blitz with man coverage. Now, before, when Sparks is healthy and Jason Sehorn, they can man cover guys. They can bring the safeties and do different things. Now it's got to be out of a zone package. So, you know, there's going to be openings in there. Flutie's got to stand in there and find them.
You saw where they were coming from on the blitz. Bills have to get to the 19 for a first down. Flutie throws and completes, but it's short of a first down. The catch made by Peerless Price at the 21-yard line. And the field goal kicking unit comes on. The wind is picked up a little here. And Steve Christie, who kicked a 50-yarder earlier, will try a 39-yarder out of Chris Moore's hold. And it hits the upright and bounces back. Christie hooked it. And it bangs off the upright.
Take a look at the laces on the ball. When this thing is snapped and he puts it down, he spins the laces around, but they don't get around. They end up on the side. That's where it gets hit. Now the ball is lopsided. You want either the laces, you either want to kick it on the laces, or you want the laces away. When the laces are on the side, the trajectory is off balance.
Giants from their own 29. Collins hits Ike Hilliard. Hilliard's got a first down. Ken Irvin chased him out of bounds up at the 41-yard line. This is an interesting move by Collins coming out from center. Quick spin around.
Well, what you're doing is getting the safety to go with the way you're going. You know, it's kind of like a pump fake. You look to the side, the safety bites over on that side. We're thinking he's going to throw there and come completely around and hit the backside of the field.
Ted Cottrell, defensive coordinator of the Bills, looking on. Giants on first down. And the reverse to Amani Toomer. Collins trying to lead him. Toomer got tripped up. And he's got a short gain on the play. Not as good as they did last week with their double reverse.
Well, when they ran it with Ike Hilliard, then see, now it's Amani's turn. And they've been averaging 30 yards on this play. So they said, Amani, now it's your turn. You're going to get it. And you need to get 30 yards. If you don't get 30 yards on the reverse, you're not going to get to run it again. Well, he's nowhere near 30, so that may be the last time we see him running the reverse.
Got about 4 on the play. Bubble. And Collins dropped the ball. And the Bills have it.
Now he's working with a new center. Normally it's been the center has been Brian Williams. And Engler's a little bit squattier and shorter, and Collins has to bend down. See the bend his knees to get down in there? Let's see what happens on the snap. Oh, it was in his hands.
Yeah. What a helpless feeling. The ball loose. The Bills pounce on it. First down, Buffalo.
His hand.
One fumble for each team. And now the Bills from the Giants' 46-yard line. Buffalo trailing 6-3. Andre Reed in motion toward the line. The fake. Flutie being chased by Strahan to Eric Moulds. And he was covered on the play. The pass is incomplete. Time for an update. Let's go back to the Fox Television Center to JB.
Sam and Bill, the Cardinals in red territory, red zone territory, looking to score, but Champ Bailey picks off Jake Plummer. He had 3 against the Cardinals last time, 4 of his 5 this season against the Cardinals. Back to Sam and Bill.
Thanks, JB.
Jake has really struggled this year, made poor decisions with the ball. I think he's just forcing things, thinking that everything is on his shoulders to win.
Bills have only rushed 6 times in the game. Here's number 7. It's Thurman Thomas trying to get outside. He slipped, and he's brought down by Sean Williams. Pick up about a yard on the play. Will bring up 3rd and long for the Bills.
Well, the Bills need to run the football. There's Joe Pendry, the offensive coordinator. And every place he's been able to run the ball. In Kansas City, he had Barry Word and Christian Okoye. Then he went up to Chicago as the offensive coordinator up there with Wanstead. They had 1,000-yard backs up there. Then he goes down to Carolina, and they get them to the NFC Championship game with Kerry Collins at quarterback and a strong run game to protect Kerry. And then he comes up to Buffalo, and they're number 3 in the league in running the ball, but they haven't been effective thus far today running the ball.
Bills with 3 wide receivers. Sheldon Jackson, the tight end. Flutie gets time, completes to Kevin Williams, but he's brought down by Sean Williams, short of a first down. And the fans here in Buffalo a little restless. Sean Williams returned from a hamstring injury, important for the Giants, whose secondary was depleted. Felipe Sparks is in uniform but has not played today. Barks bothered by a groin injury. Been out for 2 weeks, has not practiced, didn't practice
and this
all week, had
he
the flu.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest reasons he's not out, because he hasn't been able to practice. And all the things that John Fox does defensively, if you don't practice them, then he really doesn't want you on the field.
Tiki Barber is deep. Chris Moore with a good high kick. Bills trying to keep it in the playing field, and they down it at the 1-yard line, inside the 1. 42-yard punt, but a beauty. Good coverage by the Bills.
Look at the hang time on that.
Antoine Winfield, what a hustling play by the rookie from Ohio State. The first-round draft pick got down there to bat it across.
Now the officials are going to talk this over to see. Watch right here. Brandon Berg goes into the end zone. Now if he touches this ball, which he does, if he touches that ball, he did not reestablish himself inside the field of play.
But he wasn't the first one to touch the ball. Darrell Porter touched the ball. And the ball is spotted at the 1-yard line.
They were conferring on it. They got together to just make sure that they all saw the same thing, but that's what they were conferring on.
And now Jim Fossil has called Bernie Kukar over. And looks like the Giants will challenge.
The New York Giants have challenged the ruling on the field of the ball being set at the 2-yard line.
Antoine Winfield gets a hand on it right there. Brandon Berg goes into the end zone. Now, he cannot be the one who downs the ball unless he reestablished himself, which he didn't.
But the hand in there, that's Porter. That's Darrell Porter in there to touch the ball first.
Well, it was obviously close. That's why they got together and conferred, and that's why Jim Fossil is challenging. It's down right there.
And Porter is the first man to touch. Bernie Kukar checking things out. If the ruling on the field stands, the Giants will be charged with a timeout. 6:10 remaining in the first half, with the Giants leading the Bills 6-3. And now the clock starts for Bernie Kukar. He has 90 seconds. Another look. It's Antoine Winfield batting it down. And there you see Brandenburg, number 96, going for the ball. Darrell Porter going for the ball. And it appears to us as if Darrell Porter is the first man to touch it. And to overturn the decision on the field, it's got to be conclusive evidence. Wade Phillips looking on. Take another look. Now, once Porter touches the ball, it's okay for Brandenburg to touch the ball. He can't be the first one to touch it when he's left the playing field.
Well, as we talked about, it has to be conclusive, and they're taking their time reviewing that.
We've gone past the 90 seconds here. All right. Checking the spot of the ball as well.
Well, if they're checking the spot of the ball, like we said, it looked like it might be down at the 1. Then they can go back and look.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Timeout, New York.
timeout charge to New York.
That is correct. They've spotted the ball on the 2-yard line. The Giants 0 for 4 on coaches' challenges. Giants have Greg Camella and Joe Montgomery in the backfield.
The ball is spotted at the 1-yard line.
1-yard line. That's
Okay,
exactly
back to the 1.
Exactly
that was the extra. That was the extra time.
That's exactly right.
That Bernie Kukar took. Listen to what the Giants have to work against. Camella, the fullback, barely makes it out of the end zone.
Watch, you know, they're backed up in the end zone, and it's hard to hear that snap count down there. In this stadium, Ralph Wilson Stadium, that crowd is right on you all the way around the field. Look how much separation there is from the crowd to the players. That's it right there. I mean, they are close.
Collins throwing. Looking for Hilliard. It's overthrown. Well covered by Ken Irvin on the play. And Collins got some time and threw
nice
it deep.
protection. You're exactly right, Sam. There was some good protection of that offensive line, giving Kerry Collins time. He's got to tell him back there, too. And they know you're in the end zone. You've got to get some time if you want to move the ball downfield. And as long as they're both looking back at the ball, Mike Hilliard's route is not disrupted.
On 3rd and 10, Giants go with 3 wide receivers. Barber and Camella in the backfield with Kerry Collins. Collins for Patton. It's overthrown again.
And they are in big trouble right here because they are on the 1, and that's only going to be 11 yards to snap the ball to the punter. And this is where you come at them full tilt. If that's normal depth for the punter, they're going to be back.
Collins had Tiki Barber open on that last play, but didn't see him. Went to Patton and overthrew him. So here's Maynard, just inches from the end line. Kevin Williams standing at the Giants 43. Maynard gets it away. Williams backpedals to his own 49. Trying to get away, but he's wrapped up. Bashir Livingston.
That's a heck of a job by everybody. By everybody on the Giants. For Maynard getting that punt off, getting some depth on it, downfield, and then the coverage teams stifling them.
Livingston may be the fastest man on
Maynard,
the team.
you see Maynard?
Yeah.
Maynard came running. He's shaking his head. Glad to be out of that one.
Great play.
I'm surprised they didn't bring the house at him. I think when you're pinned down there and you got the short punt, you don't have your proper distance, that's when you come at him.
He's got to tuck that jersey in. Livingston grabbed a hold of the jersey and swung him down. Bills from their own 48-yard line after a 50-yard punt. Antoine Smith tries to get outside and does. Good pickup, close to a first down. He's out of bounds at the Giants 44. This is a Fox NFL doubleheader day, and many of you will see Detroit at Tampa Bay, the game for first place in the NFC Central Division. That will not be seen in the New York City or Buffalo areas.
Backup quarterbacks.
Gus Farrat.
Hey, what a
Sean
job
King.
he's done for them coming in off the bench. It's nice to have 2 quality quarterbacks on your roster. You know, Bats goes down with a thumb. Gus Farrat comes in and plays the way he's played. And everybody down in Tampa Bay is in love with the poise and the mentality of Sean King.
Here's Jonathan Litton carrying on 2nd down, and the Giants stop him short of a first down. Got a battle of University of Pittsburgh guys, offense and defense on the line, right, Bill?
I've visited with both of them. There's Hammer right there, Big Keith Hamilton from Pittsburgh, and he's playing directly over Reuben Brown. And these guys go back, they're from the same neighborhood. They grew up together. They've been playing against each other all their lives, as long as they've been playing football. College, they went against each other at Pitt all the time. Now they're out there, and Brown said Hamilton, he says everybody knows Hamilton's the biggest trash talker in the NFL. And Hamilton said, hey, he knows I'm going to be bringing it to him.
3rd and a long 1. Flutie. Sam Gash, his 16th reception of the season. He doesn't run the ball, but he can catch it out of the backfield. Good play to the fullback. This is some player, Sam Gash. He'd rather hit people than run the ball, but he's a good receiver out of the backfield.
Well, and it's a changeup for him, too. When you're the Bills offense and you're thinking Andre Reed and you have Eric Moulds and Peerless Price and the tight end's been productive for him. And then you get the flat, get the fullback out in the flat. That's a big changeup.
Off the play fake. Flutie throws again. And a diving grab by Eric Moulds at the 25-yard line. Beautiful catch by Moulds as he challenged Jeremy Lincoln.
Oh, this is a little play action pass, but this ball wasn't thrown real well. Watch what Moulds has to do to come back to this ball. Look how far he has. Now he's got to get on his horse right here and come back to it.
Spot the ball at the 26-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and 1. They've gone at Lincoln 3 times in the game. Thurman Thomas gets the first down at the 23-yard line. Bills have not run the ball all that much.
They knew coming into this game, too, that Giants defensive front is a dominating one. They knew they'd have their hands full in the whole aspect of it, of blocking Hamilton, Peters, Michael Strahan. Then behind that, you have the linebackers, Jesse Armstead, very active, hovering around there. They knew it was going to be tough. They're trying to create ways to run the ball by opening up the pass game a little bit, but still the yardage isn't there for them.
2-minute warning.
We've reached the 2-minute warning. All field goals thus far. 2 for the Giants, 1 for the Bills. 23-yard line. Flutie drops it off to Thurman Thomas with 2 blockers in front of him. Thomas to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown. His first game back since the first play of the season. And Thurman Thomas with a 23-yard catch and run. And the Bills have regained the lead.
They just got him on the screenplay outside, right over the top of Cedric Jones's head. That ball went right over his head.
Had a look at 2 greats there. Bruce Smith congratulating Thurman Thomas. Steve Christie's kick is good. The Bills have a 10-6 lead. This is what he does so very, very well. He's their 2nd all-time leading receiver.
Watch on the screenplay here. He just wheels out to the side. Now watch this. Where's the ball? Right over Cedric Jones's head. And then look at the guys downfield blocking. And we talked about earlier when he's back and what a nice addition he's going to be for them down the stretch run.
Jerry Ostrowski, Reuben Brown, and Sheldon Jackson downfield doing some great blocking.
And the one thing he is to them, you know, they have the 2 other backs that are big pound guys. They can run it at you. To get him catching the ball out in the open field, he's their Tiki Barber. He'll find a way out in space to make you miss and pick up extra yards.
6 plays, 52 yards. And the Bills have the lead. Bills are 8-4. They've won 4 of their last 5. They have won 10 straight games over NFC Eastern Division teams.
And they needed something to get them a spark because they were kind of flat. The rushing yards weren't there for them. Flutie hadn't been real accurate. They needed a spark. Maybe Thurman Thomas, maybe that'll jumpstart them.
There's a big man, Jamie Nails. We talk about Ted Washington and Jamie Nails. Nails, the backup lineman. Christie to kick off. Tiki Barber at the 6. Picks up a couple of blocks and a good return up to the 33-yard line.
You know, it used to be that nobody wanted to come up into Buffalo in December. In the old AFL was look at the 27 games they played in December through the 60s, and only 5 of those games were in Buffalo because nobody wanted to come up here. It was an old agreement with them. They said, no, we're not going to play up there. We'll go to nicer weather sites. But you can see in the 90s, it's shortchanged. 33 games in December, and 16 of them have now been here.
And there's the longtime owner, Ralph Wilson.
What a great owner. How good is he for the NFL?
Great man. Collins on first down. Completing to Tiki Barber. Up at the 37-yard line. Short pickup on the play. Giants go no huddle.
You know, Ralph Wilson, 81 years old. He's had this team for 40 years. He told me it's been 40 years of fun. He's eligible for the Hall of Fame this year, and I think the league ought to do him a favor, put him in. He's a
Collins
great man.
Intended for Mitchell, but off his back shoulder, and it falls incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and 6 for the Giants. With 1:20 to go in the half. Video replay is now in the hands of the officials upstairs. Giants with 3 wide receivers and the receiving tight end Pete Mitchell. Giants are 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversion attempts thus far. Collins completes to Mitchell up at the 48-yard line. He's got a first down.
He's their 3rd down guy. And on 3rd downs, they look for Pete Mitchell. Last week, it was the same thing. And if you think back in Kerry Collins' career with tight ends, Wesley Walls down in Carolina with a lot of success, he's trying to have that same relationship here with Mitchell.
Under a minute to go. Collins gets time, drops it off to Tiki Barber. Nice move. Barber gets out of bounds, close to a first down.
I just pulled a groin watching him do that. I heard up here. He hits that right foot, he plants it in the ground, and everybody falls down. Watch this. Bang. And he goes plump, plump, 2 plumps. And gets out of bounds to stop the clock. That was a fantastic run.
It'll be 2nd and 1 for the Giants at the Bills' 42-yard line with 49 seconds remaining in the first half. Collins being rushed. Puts it up. And it's incomplete. Intended for Amani Toomer. Ken Irvin with good coverage on the play. I'm talking to the Bills about the improvement of their defense, and they're ranked 2nd in the NFL on defense. They had a good defense last year. The play of the secondary has really improved this year.
Those guys have really come on. You know, for Buffalo, they've always had good secondary guys, especially in the safety position. Kurt Schultz at free safety, Henry Jones, outstanding player. But Ken Irvin really came on for him the past year and a half.
Here's 3rd and 1 for the Giants. Handoff inside to Barber. Flag goes down. Barber didn't get much. We'll await the call.
The umpire was quick to throw that.
Holding against the Giants. And then instead of 3rd and short, it becomes 3rd and long.
Holding, 69 offense. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Derek Engler, the center.
You see, he just takes him and he takes his arm outside. And if his hands were inside on that and he took him down, that would have been all right. But his hands were outside the frameworks of the shoulder pads.
It now brings up 3rd and 11. Giants have to get to the Bills' 41-yard line for a first down. Collins gets plenty of time, drops it off to Tiki Barber. Beat Antoine Winfield. And he got a first down. Great play by Barber as he slipped the rookie Antoine Winfield, who had a good shot at him.
But what Collins did real well there is he saw there wasn't anything downfield, and he was patient, and he took what he had, and that was Barber. Then when Barber got the ball, he found his way and weaved to the sidelines and got the first down and got it out of bounds.
That's the starting center, Brian Williams, who's out with a knee injury, had an MRI this week. It came out okay, no structural damage, expected to be out 2 weeks. Barber, 4 catches, 53 yards. First down at the Bills, 39. Flags fly. Bills were offside. The long pass is incomplete. Big hit by Darryl Porter on Ike Hilliard. But the Bills are going to be called for an offside.
You see them jump in the middle here. Now it's going to be a question of who moved first.
Offside, 78 defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
They got Bruce Smith. Kerry Collins working the snap count there on him. They're trying to get the jump and see what they did with the crowd noise up. The past 2 passes, it was on a silent count, so they thought they had a rhythm. Then they came back with a snap count and they tried to jump it.
26 seconds remaining in the half. Giants still have 2 timeouts. Collins under pressure, completes to Hilliard. Inside the 20 and down inside the 15. Dropped the ball, but the ground caused the fumble. The official said the ball is down, and the Giants have called.
No, they just overruled.
I think the whistle was for a timeout. I think one official was signaling timeout.
Timeout, New York. The ruling on the field down by contact.
They corrected that quick. They had some confusion there.
That's real close. Watch this.
Ball's out.
Man.
Ball's out. You know,
does the knee touch?
The worst thing the Giants did right there was call timeout. Have a play like that, you've got to get up and run a play. Because
there's only 18 seconds remaining, and they're going on the official's ruling.
Well, with the new instant replay policy, you always have to think about these alternatives.
And the knee touches.
You can't really tell from that angle there.
That's real close. The knee was going down. Don't forget, Visa halftime report coming up. JB, Terry, and Chris have scores highlights from around the league. Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats coming up on the Visa halftime report. First down, Giants at the Bills 14. 18 seconds remaining. Mitchell in motion. Collins fires for Mitchell. Broken up. Good coverage on the play by Henry Jones.
I don't understand why we're inside 2 minutes and that play isn't reviewed. There was plenty of time there. We're inside 2 minutes. This goes up to the replay booth. They saw that and they, we ran a replay and we refused to be reviewed.
Maybe they looked and didn't want to call down the field. Maybe they felt the ruling was good.
Well, just in fairness to everybody out there, just to both teams, those things are worth a review.
Ninth play of the drive for the Giants. 14 seconds to go in the half. Montgomery in motion. Throwing and for Cabela, and again Henry Jones on the coverage. Dangerous throw by Kerry Collins. He was still going backwards when he let it go.
Henry Jones is a heck of a player. He's a guy that leads us second in the team on tackles with 102, yet he can come up and they play him on man coverage, and they use him inside. They use him as a linebacker in their dime package, and they get him matched up on man. He can do a lot of things. A great asset to that defense.
Giants have time for one more shot into the end zone. With 8 seconds remaining, Giants still have 1 timeout. Wade Phillips looking on. His defense has been tough inside the red zone. Collins for Amani Toomer, and he's in. Touchdown. A great effort by Amani Toomer with Thomas Smith wrapped around him. With 3 seconds to go in the half, Toomer scores, and the Giants have taken the lead again.
Nice job by that Giants offensive line. Kerry Collins just stood in the pocket, no pressure around him, and he had a direct passing lane right to Amani Toomer. There was nobody in his face.
Collins and Toomer pumped. They hooked up for 181 yards last week. Gary Blanchard with the extra point. 10 plays, 67 yards, and this is the finish.
Well, look at the time he has on this. You know, this is, you got to bring it right here. And look at there's nobody right there in front of him on that passing lane. Take a look at nobody. Look at the passing lane right in there. Look at that. Nobody's there all the time in the world, and he gets a direct lane right to Amani Toomer.
And you know, Bill, I don't know if this hit by Schultz doesn't help Toomer.
Keeps the momentum going forward.
Thomas Smith has him wrapped up, but watch the hit by Schultz. And Toomer falls into the end zone, and the Giants have the touchdown. Toomer's first catch of the game. And Kerry Collins, who had a 3-touchdown game last week, boy, he pleases the coach with that one.
Look at that smile on Jim Fossil's face.
Well, the Giants are really happy with Kerry Collins. He had his breakout game last week, and they feel this is the guy that can lead them.
Well, he's always been an up top level guy as far as where's the ceiling on him. You knew he could always do a lot with his potential, but he said in the last 3 to 4 weeks ago, he finally got it all. He understood it. He understood what they wanted to do offensively.
Bouncing kick by Blanchard goes by everybody and through the end zone. 3 seconds still remaining in the first half. Ooh, tonight is a good one, Bill. All new X-Files, so bizarre, so shocking. After 144 cases, this is the one that should never have been opened. The X-Files, an all-new episode tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Was that an eyeball? Did I see an eyeball rolling around there?
Don't ask me.
You never know.
I wouldn't have opened that file.
I don't know if I'd sign up for that job.
Big drive as Collins was 3 for 3 on 3rd downs during that drive. Bills take a knee, and we have come to halftime in a good one. 2 teams whose playoff hopes hinge on victory today. Very important to both teams. The Giants in the tight 4-team race in the NFC East, and the Bills in the tight race in the AFC East and the AFC overall. They are 2 games behind the Indianapolis Colts, who are leading over New England today 14-6.
Well, the Giants look like a team that just came out of a dogfight last week, and Buffalo looks like a team that just came off a bye.
Let's go down to the field to Bob Trimble.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. Standing by with head coach Jim Fossil. And Jim, boy, what a turnaround that second quarter, especially. They score, and you show some tenacity coming back offensively.
Well, that's right. And, you know, after they put the ball in the end zone and we got the ball with 2 minutes, it's kind of hard on the road. You don't want to give it back to them. And that was a great 2-minute drive and some special plays.
2 great defenses. What do you expect the second half?
Well, I expect these 2 teams are going to fight it out. I mean, it's going to come down. It's going to be a tight ball game. I think it's going to come down to who's going to make one critical mistake.
Thanks very much, Coach. Good luck second half. Let's send it back up to Sam.
Thanks, Bob. We're at halftime. The Giants leading the Bills 13-10. Beautiful Niagara Falls, just minutes away from where we are here in Orchard Park, New York, outside of Buffalo. We're at halftime. The Giants and the Buffalo Bills in a great battle. The Giants lead it 13-10. We'll be right back. Wilson Stadium in Buffalo, where the Giants are leading the Bills at halftime 13-10. Moments ago, our Bob Trimble caught up with the head coach of the Bills, Wade Phillips, down on the field. Bob.
Standing by with head coach Wade Phillips. And of course, 3 months ago to the day, Thurman Thomas went out with that injury. What has he meant to your team coming back today?
Well, we can see with that touchdown run, he's added a spark to us. I think, I think it'll really help us second half too.
What do you have to do to come back in the second half?
Well, we missed a field goal. It would be 13-13, and I thought we finally started moving the ball pretty good. They made a nice drive at the end of the half. We should have kept them in bounds a couple of times, but I think we'll be all right this half.
Best of luck second half.
Thanks.
All right, Bob. Wade is so low key, isn't he?
More like his father all the time, doesn't he?
He's so low. We'll be all right. We'll be okay. Now, one thing we want to clear up about the non-review late in the first half. You cannot review down by contact, but that ball was out. The officials made a mistake.
They missed the call on the field, yeah. But once they ruled down by contact, that's not a reviewable play. And And I think they've leaned to that a lot.
How about the Giants' defensive effort? They've really done a great job shutting down the Buffalo run.
Well, you know, they've been suffocating today, really. I mean, they've been all over the place, and Buffalo knew they were going to be that way coming in. Then they get the pressure on Flutie, and that's with the whole package. Shut down the run, and then contain Flutie primarily in the pocket. Armstead's been all over the place. Strahan's been effective. The two tackles have been dominant. And for Buffalo, they really haven't been able to attack the corners either. I think they're early in their first drive. They got one long pass down, and then that's been it.
They've gone at Lincoln 3 times, at McDaniel 3 times. They've made some completions, especially that one big one, 36 yards for Eric Moulds. But they really haven't burned the Giants to any great extent. And they'll need to pick it up here in the second half.
Everything that Buffalo does is off of their running game. And when they don't get that run game going, then the Giants don't have to bring up a safety. And if the safety doesn't come up, they can sit back there and play shell defense.
Blanchard, the line drive grabbed by Darrell Porter at the 20. And a good return by Porter as he breaks through, gets up to the 44-yard line. Cary Blanchard is not a good kickoff man. And he's been kicking the low line drivers. And here's Darrell Porter, the up man, with the grab and a good return. The first half stats, note what we were talking about. The 21 yards rushing for the Bills.
That's the story for the Bills today. And they look rusty. You know, I don't care what you say, the bye week, yeah, you get fresh, you get healthy, you get fresh legs. But when you got the engine up and running, and it's December, I don't think you want to take any time off. That's why a lot of teams don't want a bye week in the playoffs.
From the 43, blitz coming. Flutie gets rid of it and completes to Andre Reed at midfield. He's knocked down by Emmanuel McDaniel. But a good pickup on the play.
You don't want to lose that winning feeling. That competitive feeling, you know, the get in there and get the grind and have that pressure on you all the time. When you take the anvil off your back for a week, kind of feels good.
And yet what about getting refreshed and getting some of those injuries healed, like Thomas being able to come back? Moulds is getting better. Antoine Smith's turf toe is getting better.
Well, maybe it'll be effective next week, because thus far it hasn't happened.
Jonathan Linton trying to bounce it outside. He's got a first down. And forced out by Jeremy Lincoln in Giants territory at the 42-yard line. Here's what's going on in the playoff picture in the AFC. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Seattle are the division leaders. Then Tennessee, Buffalo, and Miami battling, but right behind Kansas City and New England. And Oakland
is still alive.
But their chances hurt with that loss to Tennessee Thursday night.
Well, you know, you're talking about the Miami and the Buffalo issue right there, and where they are as far as the East. You know, who's going to win? We've been talking about the Giants in their division, how close that is.
Sure.
Look at this thing.
Flutie still got it. Nobody open, he runs. And Flutie, who leads all quarterbacks in the NFL in rushing yardage with 382, is tackled by Michael Strahan, his first run of the game. Doug Flutie. There's Strahan.
And he's a guy who's first tell you know, he's notorious as a scrambler. But he's not really a scrambler in the aspect where he wants to run and pick up a bunch of yards. He's a scrambler that's just elusive in the pocket to buy his receivers time.
He says he always goes through all the reads first. On 2nd and 5, Thurman Thomas broke one tackle, got a first down at the 30-yard line. Giants are starting to go outside to the Bills going outside to the left now, with Linton first and now Thomas.
Well, they had tried attacking downhill, and it's just been too stout in there. But watch what Thurman Thomas does. We talked about him being a spark. Watch him when he takes his ball outside. Watch him give his right shoulder right here, gives it and just takes it away. You know, his knowledge of the run game and how things transpire, he'll get you the extra yards because he's been in these situations so many times.
First down at the 31. Blitz coming from the corner. It's picked up, and the pass is caught across the 30-yard line.
That was nice by
Andre Reed, his third catch of the game.
But McDaniel was right on him. Anything underneath, heck, you'll take the underneath. When you got the blitz coming, so many other things can open up for you. If blitz came, and watch McDaniel stay with him. Here's Reed. Now watch this thing transpire as the blitz comes off the corner. When you see the blitz, you want to throw to the blitz. This ball should have been out right away.
Ball's at the Giants' 38-yard line. 2nd and 7. Jonathan Linton, the lone setback. 2 tight ends in for Buffalo. The play fake by Flutie. And he runs away. Gets down to the 25-yard line where he's brought down by Cedric Jones. Looks like Doug Flutie's looking to run a little bit more here in the second half.
Well, that's when he comes alive. You know, you kind of go in and you assess what's going on. And his biggest transition from CFL down to the NFL is the little gadget in your ear. Because he called all his own plays. He talked to his players in the huddle. He'd look at the down and distance. He'd wave in the personnel groupings. He'd run everything. He was like a coach during the week and a player during the game, and now he has to listen to everything come through his ear. It takes away his conversation with his players.
3 wide receivers in for Buffalo on 3rd and 4. Flutie being pressured. Trying to get away from Armstead. And Armstead pulls him down. Jesse Armstead, who leads the Giants in sacks, makes the play with his 9th sack of the season.
Well, his dad's going to be happy with that one, Sam.
That's right.
He tells us his dad watches everything. His dad tells him whether he gets whooped or he doesn't get whooped. He said, no, he says his sister and his mom, oh, you played great. You were great. He says his dad calls him up and tells him.
And the players come to him in the locker room, say, what'd your dad think about how we played?
Yeah, Keith Hamilton always said.
Field goal try for Steve Christie. 48-yarder. He hit a 50-yarder earlier. And this one is no good. He's 1 for 3 in the game. The Bills drive stalls. Christie misses. The Giants still lead 13-10.
Can't blame it on the wind.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
After the field goal miss, Giants with good field position at their own 39. Joe Montgomery with a short pickup across the 40. Steve Christie missing that one wide to the right. Let's check we've got to check our Fox weather station to see what the weather conditions were on that kick.
You know, you can't blame the wind out here. The wind really hasn't been a factor. There's the wind speed. It's 5 point. Well, it's dropping. It's under 5 miles an hour.
Right.
And it's blowing to the east a little bit, which was the way he was kicking.
Second and 8 for the Giants. Short drop, hard throw. Hilliard with a good catch up at the 48-yard line. 5th reception of the game for Ike Hilliard.
You know, when you think about the Giants, when you think about NFC, they're pretty good at throwing the ball. You know, they're ranked 12th in their pass offense. They move the ball downfield well, and they need to get that run offense picked up. And Montgomery's been the factor there. You know, the old Giants team would always pound you.
Here's 3rd and 1, and Montgomery following Camella, ducks in, and it's going to be real close. I think he got just enough for a first down. Sam Coward made the tackle.
Looked like the surge was there by Montgomery before he got pushed back.
Joe Montgomery out of Ohio State, 2nd-round draft pick for the Giants.
There's Ron Stone. See the drive he gets? Want to hold a sec?
Ball just short of midfield. Montgomery has carried 12 times for 44 yards. End around, fake by Collins, wide open Tiki Barber, and the catch is made at the 36-yard line. A first down for the Giants. The 5th reception of the game for Tiki Barber.
Now, we haven't seen that play out of the Giants before. That looked like some of the old stuff that Jim used to run when he and Wade were together in Denver. The trick stuff, you know, a little of this, a little of that.
So you like the way Sean Payton's calling it?
Yeah, he's calling it wide open. And I think Mike Holmgren said it best. He said, when I was an offensive coordinator in San Francisco, if I had the ball on the 2-yard line, I was going to heave it all the way downfield as many times as I could.
Montgomery right up the middle, still going. That's a power run to the 27-yard line. Picked up 9 on the play. John Holisek with a tackle.
But when you're a head coach, you know, you kind of start thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't, you know, that's too risky, or I don't know, the defense and this and that. And it kind of hinders you. And Sean Payton's calling it, and he's wide open. He's going to try this, try that. Then he comes back with a power run at you.
Montgomery, talking about last week's 111-yard effort, said that's in the past. I got to keep it going. And he's had a good game thus far. Collins still has it. Getting away and running, and a first down. Collins showing good legs, gets out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
You know, Kerry Collins, speaking with him and everything we've talked about since becoming a Giant and turning his life around and doing the things and taking the steps necessary to be a good player, he sees Ryan leave and he sees him struggling now, and he says, you know, I see myself in Ryan. I know what he's going through. And I thought, well, maybe I should call him. You know, he says, but people tried to tell me, and that's just part of the maturation process. You've got to figure it out yourself and know when you want to do it as they go empty.
Montgomery in motion. Collins has time, trying to find someone deep for Montgomery. It's incomplete and out of bounds.
You know, Sam, did your parents ever tell you not, don't do that, Samuel?
They didn't call me Samuel.
What, was Sammy? Was it Sammy?
That's it.
Don't do that, Sammy. And did you do it?
Once in a while.
You had to go figure it out for yourself. You had to go figure out what's good and what's bad and what's not. And fortunately for Kerry Collins, it seems as though he's got it figured out.
Well, as he told us, football has become the #1 thing in his life. He's the first one in to watch film and the last one to leave. 8th play of this drive for the Giants. 2nd and 10, blitz coming. Montgomery slipped a couple of tackles, breaks a couple more, still going to the 6-yard line.
Get out the highlight film.
How about that run?
That's on the 99 Giants offensive highlight film right there. He gets up into the line and watch it. He makes Phil Hansen miss, and then he cuts back and plants. And when he's in traffic, he just keeps chugging. You saw 3 different styles of running back there. And he says, that's what I want to be. I want to be able to do it all. Makes you miss, and then watch when you need power. When he needs power to break, he has the power to break. How many missed tackles?
4 missed tackles on the play. 67 yards rushing for Montgomery. 1st and goal, Giants at the 6. And that time Tiki Barber is thrown for a loss. Good penetration by the Bills defense, led by Phil Hansen, number 90.
Well, Phil's a battler, and Phil knows that he had Montgomery on the last play in the backfield and he missed him. He says, I'm not going to miss this time. He gets every inch of Tiki Barber.
Big defensive series here for the Bills, who trail by 3. Giants have 2 tight ends, 2 wides. Barber the lone setback. 10th play of the drive. It's Tiki Barber inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line. Sam Cowart made the tackle. Bring up 3rd and goal. Jim Fossil wants something.
He wants Joe Montgomery on the field. He says, you know, he called him out there last time. See, here comes Joe. Joe comes in now, and out comes Tiki Barber. And last week they had to do that too. Joe was hurt a little bit. They were rubbing his hamstring out. He said, get in there. I need you in there, when they were down around the goal line.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers for the Giants, and Montgomery the running back. The play fake. Collins, nobody open. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. And Giants will send on the field goal kicking unit. Good defensive series there by the Buffalo Bills.
Wind's not even blowing. You would think that we'd be blowing like crazy.
Gary Blanchard, who is 2 for 2, make it 3 for 3. This one a 21-yarder. The Giants settle for 3. Their lead is 6, 16-10. There may not be snow in Buffalo, but Santa made his way in without the sled. You got the sled in the garage. Great crowd here in Buffalo. Gary Blanchard, who's been kicking low line drives, kicks one along the ground this time. Picked up by the up man Sam Gash. He's up across the 40 to the 44. And once again, the bad kickoffs give Buffalo good field position. Gary Blanchard's field goal kicking has been terrific. 12 of 13 as a Giant, but his kickoffs have been horrendous.
Yeah, and that's going to be a problem for him down the stretch here because that field position is just terrible. Now, they have a kicker, Jared Holmes, on their practice squad. They wanted to activate him today just for the kickoff, but they couldn't because they were up so tight against the salary cap they couldn't afford a game check to the guy.
Bills from their own 44. Andre Reed in motion. The toss to Antoine Smith. Big hole. And he breaks it up to the 49-yard line. Percy Ellsworth came up to make the stop.
You know, right here, watch. Here's Cedric Jones is out. And in is Holsey. And Fina gets the reach on him outside. So there's the seam right there. That's a reach block. And when you're playing outside eye of the tackle, 5 technique end, you've got to stay contained. You can't get reached out there.
On second down, Smith tries the right side. The Giants have him. Maybe picked up a yard. The Bills still have not been able to get a consistent running game going.
Well, you know, they went outside on the one play and they got Holsey, but I want you to watch over here. They get outside and they stay outside. See? That's contained and that's stringing out. Michael Strahan was over there. Ryan Phillips was over there. They string that thing out to the sidelines and they don't get reached. And then the inside pressure comes. Piedmonte for the cleanup.
Have to get to the Giants 46 for a first down. 3 wide receivers in. Thurman Thomas is the running back. Peerless Price in motion. Flutie, pass deflected, falls incomplete.
Now, boy, he gets a lot of his throws tipped.
Sean Williams with a blitz. Got his hands on the ball and deflected it.
You want to get into his passing lanes, and that's what the Giants do here. Sean Williams settles down, sees the passing lane, and jumps, and just gets his hand on it.
So the Bills are forced to punt. First 3 and out for Buffalo in the game.
Because, you know, Flutie is not a Giant.
No, he's a Bill.
He's a Bill, but he's not a Giant.
Chris Moore's kick. Tiki Barber lets it bounce inside the 10. It goes into the end zone for a touchback. 2:48 remaining in the third quarter. A 50-yard punt. We'll be right back.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving. By Dr. Pepper, your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By Agilent Technologies, dreams made real. And by Wendy's Spicy Chicken. When you're hot, you're hot.
You know, I always wondered, how can a deer not see that? You know, is that really for the deer or is that for the hunters?
No comment on that one. From the 20, Joe Montgomery pushes forward for a couple of yards on the play. Pat Williams, the backup nose tackle, made the stop. Number 93. The Giants have already done a lot better than most teams here in Buffalo, scoring 16 points in 4 of their 6 games at home this season. The Bills have given up single digits.
You know, looking at them offensively, they really have a lot of confidence. You know, last week it gave them a lot of confidence and it's carried over. Joe Montgomery and Kerry Collins have given this entire offense confidence.
And somebody forgot the snap count. Everybody moved and Engler didn't snap the ball.
The ball was still on the ground.
Ball start. The entire offensive line moves. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
I've never heard that ever.
Except the center, Bernie.
No, the center, he didn't move. False start on everybody. Look at Collins looking at him. What are you doing? Where's the ball?
Ball back to the 18-yard line. And Collins falls down as he came back from center. gets rid of it and throws it away.
Oh, and a flag. And a flag. We got a flag out here.
Let's see.
They're gonna
personal foul.
Oh,
Roughing the passer. That hurts Buffalo. A desperate Collins got rid of it and threw it away. But he was hit after he threw it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 52 defense, 15 yards, first down.
John Holisek.
no, that was right on Collins' part of getting up and getting outside of the box and making something happen. And after the ball's thrown, Holisek comes and whacks him.
Fans reacting to the replay. They didn't think it was a big deal. Referee Bernie Kukar did, and the Giants have a first down at the 33-yard line. Montgomery cuts it back, gets a couple of yards on the play. Let's check in on the Cowboys and the Eagles. JB, take it away.
Hey, Sam, Cowboys are scoring an average of 27 points in their home divisional games. This pass from Aikman to LaFleur gives them 20 late in the third. They're on target, up by 17 over the Eagles. Back to Sam Rosen and Big Bill Moss.
Thanks, JB.
Now they're throwing the ball a lot more down there because Emmitt Smith banged up a little bit.
Dallas 6-6 coming in. Washington leading. They were 7-5 coming in. Collins completes to Mitchell at the 44-yard line. He's wrestled down. It's close to a first down. Third reception of the game for Pete Mitchell, who leads all NFC tight ends in receptions, now has 51.
Pete Mitchell does a nice job of his route running. He knows how to work, whether it's a safety or a linebacker on him or a nickelback, who's ever over him, he knows how to work them and get his separation. Not a real fast guy, not a real big guy, but a nifty route runner, and he creates separation.
He's third in the NFL coming in. First in the NFC among tight ends. First down from the 45. Montgomery, nothing there. Bills do a good job throwing them for a loss. Pat Williams, number 93, led the charge. Pat Williams, similar body configuration to Ted Washington.
Yeah, mad. You know, watch here. They by formation, they recognize where this play is going to go, so they get the defensive line slant. See, everybody slants, and then they're in the backfield, and that play's blown up from the get-go.
Wade Phillips.
The end of the third quarter.
His team has not been able to cut into the Giants' lead. The Giants have extended it by 3, and at the end of 3 quarters, Giants 16, Buffalo 10. Where the visiting Giants are leading the Bills 16-10 as we get set to start the 4th quarter. Pretty good third quarter for the Giants.
Excellent third quarter. They're doing everything right defensively, offensively to beat the Bills.
2nd and 11. Tiki Barber in the backfield. The quick toss outside to Amani Toomer for a short pickup up to the 49-yard line.
You know, the Giants picking up right where they left off in halftime. They came out in the third quarter and the same thing. Controlling time of possession, moving the chains, sustaining drives, and you see the pass yards for Buffalo.
Buffalo offense has not been sharp.
They always step up to the challenge when this Giants defense is challenged.
Giants 4 for 10 on third downs. Collins gets ridof it to Ike Hilliard. A first down for the Giants as Hilliard is out of bounds at the 40-yard line of Buffalo. 6th catch of the game for Ike Hilliard. Ike must want to be a referee one day. He likes that first down pointing.
Got the Red Casham thing going. He's probably yelling it as well. Here's a little covey of receivers. He gets a push off of Henry Jones, inside pushing him back outside. Then gets a couple yards after the catch, and that's where he excels. And how about Kerry Collins, though? How about his numbers today?
6 catches for Hilliard, 62 yards. Collins going deep for Hilliard. It's incomplete.
Flag. It's got
flag
to be
on Kenny Irvin. He impeded his path.
Pass interference, 27 defense. That's a first down.
Watch where his arm comes out right here. See the arm wrapped around him, and he's not looking back at the ball. The contact is there. He's not making a play at the ball as Ike Hilliard is. Good call by the side judge.
23-yard penalty. Puts the ball down at the Bills' 17. Montgomery got about a yard on the play. The hole was there. It closed up in a hurry.
It was there too long, actually. When you see a hole there that long, you know it's going to close. But it closed by the time he got to it.
Montgomery is carried for 73 yards in the game. 18 carries, 73 yards. That's the third highest total by any running back against the Bills this season. Had only one 100-yard rusher against them. That was opening day. Edgerrin James of the Colts. Toomer in motion on second down. Collins sends everybody out. Completes to Barber with a couple of blockers. And a great tackle on the play by Sam Rogers.
That was there too, and Tiki Barber threw the ball down at the end of the play because he's just disappointed in himself. The decision he made, the cut he made off of Rosenthal's block. He took it outside right into the traffic when he should have taken it upside. Take a look at the throwback screen. Now watch, here's his blockers out here. Right here, he's going to try to go outside instead of cutting it up off of Rosenthal's block. It's there.
Big third down play. Everybody out. Collins under pressure. The ball batted up in the air, and it's intercepted. Marcellus Wiley. He's being chased by Ike Hilliard, who catches him and takes him down at the 20-yard line. Sean Price deflected the pass. Marcellus Wiley with the interception. And Jim Fossil said at halftime, this could be decided by one big mistake. Could this be it?
Here comes the rush up front. Now watch Price. He's number 91. He's going to get his hands up. And his right ball just out into that passing lane of Kerry Collins. Ball's tipped up in the air, and Marcellus Wiley. How much fun is that?
Not many NFL players from Columbia University. Marcellus Wiley is one. His first career interception.
Boy, that's grabbing a fly out of midair, hitting that ball. There was nobody around him.
Empty backfield for the Bills from the 22. Pressure on Flutie. They got him. Michael Strahan with his first sack in several weeks. Just 5.5 this season.
Watch Michael Strahan readjust here. He comes upfield. He gets to the level of the quarterback, then quickly works right back underneath. Bang, right, then he comes underneath. He sees it, recognizes it, and comes back inside.
First sack in 6 games.
Sleepy Sparks had good coverage downfield.
I don't think so. Michael Strahan's first sack in the last 6 games. Flutie out of the shotgun, throws incomplete. Intended for Peerless Price, but it was thrown a little behind him. Flutie has not been sharp in this game. It's a 3rd and 10 for the Bills at the 22-yard line.
You know, they've been down around this area a couple times. Chrissy had 2 missed field goals. I mean, this has been a problem area for him down here. It's 3rd and 10 now. As we talked about, that the passing and the accuracy just hasn't been there today for the Bills.
They need something here. They've got 4 wide receivers in the game. And they split out the tight end as well. Flutie's got time. And he completes to Bobby Collins, the tight end. A first down at the 9-yard line. The rookie out of Northern Alabama with his first reception.
What Bobby Collins brings to the table at tight end is a lot of speed, and he's matched up on a linebacker, 91 Ryan Phillips outside, and it's just too much speed for Ryan Phillips to keep up with him as he's running the out.
They miss Remersma, but that's a big catch for Collins. Gash and Linton in the backfield now as Andre Reed comes in motion on 1st and goal. Jonathan Linton cuts it back. Gets down to about the 5-yard line. Pete Monty, the middle linebacker, made the tackle.
Jesse Armstead and Sam Gash are locked up. Jesse had his arm up under Sam's face mask, and they were going at it. Sam's been leading up on the inside, and who's ever there, whether it be a lineman, a linebacker, doesn't matter. With strong safety, Sam's bringing it.
2nd and goal at the 6. Gash and Linton are the running backs. Reed comes in motion. Flutie under pressure, gets away, slips a tackle, caught from behind by Percy Ellsworth. Inside the 5-yard line. They spot the ball at the 2.
No, you have to contain him. You try to keep him in the pocket. Now watch Armstead. Armstead's going to sit and he's going to wait for him. He's waiting right in the middle. One, and then he's sitting. And now he realizes this guy, I mean, that's what he is. Captain Inviso.
Here's 3rd and goal for the Bills. Andre Reed in motion. Linton cuts it back to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown. The power run of Jonathan Linton. They rotate the backs. Linton is the man who takes it in. Steve Christie for the lead. The Bills 17. The Giants 16. Jonathan Linton. Gash with a block. Linton cuts it in, and Buffalo has the lead.
We're talking about Sam Gash. How important is he on this lead? It brings Jesse Armstead and Pete Monty. You bring 2 back in there because you know what Sam Gash brings to the table. When they do that, this hole opens to the backside, and there's no linebacker there to pick it up.
Christie kicking off. Coming down to Bashir Livingston. He's got an opening. He spun away from one man and is up to the 35-yard line. The Buffalo Bills, capitalizing on the interception, move in for the touchdown.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By IBM, are you ready for e-business? By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And by the U.S. Army, be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be.
Sam Gash, number 33, and Jonathan Linton, the guys who banged it in, and Marcellus Wiley with the interception, and the return down to the 22 set it up. Now the Giants from the 35 with 9:24 to go in the 4th quarter. Toomer in motion. Montgomery takes the toss. Gets about a yard on the play. Phil Hansen made the tackle. Joe Montgomery, coming off the 111-yard game last week against the Jets, has run well today.
You know, one of the knocks on him has always been, can he stay healthy? Because of everything he's been through in high school and in college with the knee. And everyone's wanting, he came back early in the season. He played some, and as soon as he played and scored a touchdown, he broke his foot.
The play fake. Collins gets time and finds Amani Toomer. Across midfield, a first down for the Giants.
That thing was a dart. That was a heck of a throw by Collins, who had a lot of time by his offensive line. He stood in there and waited. That's the patience he was talking about that he had to have. If his offensive line gives him time, he needed that patience, because in that zone defense that Buffalo plays a lot of, somebody's going to settle down in a hole there. And he found Amani Toomer and weaved it right in there.
18 for 32, 195 yards for Kerry Collins. Tiki Barber is in and is split out to the right side. With Montgomery in the backfield. Quick outside, incomplete. Behind Tiki Barber. Barber has had 6 catches in the game. Here's where Collins has gone with his passes. 9 to the wide receivers. 3 to Pete Mitchell, the tight end. And 6 to the running back. He's attempted 7 to the tight end, 17 to the wide outs, and 8 to the backs.
I bet all Pete Mitchell's catches were first downs, too.
2 tight ends, 2 wide outs. Montgomery carrying. It's down to about the 45-yard line.
You know, Sam, Jim Fossil's done an outstanding job. You know, you think about everything that has transpired through the course of this year. Heck, back in October, you're thinking, oh, he's not going to be there this year. Management isn't happy with him. Last week was a big test.
Yes.
You know, he had some family problems with his mother passing away. He had his star player lashing out at his team. He had all kinds of problems, and he pulled that whole thing together. And they were playing the Jets. So management keeping an eye on him. They're playing the Jets. He pulls that whole thing off. And the players credit him after the game.
They're on their feet here in Buffalo, urging on the defense. Collins under pressure, almost intercepted. Darryl Porter stepped up in front of Pete Mitchell and almost intercepted that pass.
Here's Mitchell. He's right in here. He's going to come in. He's going to settle right in here. But watch the secondary and what they do. Schultz is going to drop way back here, and the Porter's going to come underneath, like in a robber position.
He almost robbed that one.
Yeah, well, that's what the robber does.
Maynard's 4th punt of the game. Maynard kicking toward the corner. It bounces at the 5. David Patton. Let's see where they spot it. It's a touchback. A flag was thrown.
Yeah, well, the official has his hat off on the sidelines. So what have happened? David Patton may have stepped out of bounds and then came in and been the first to touch the ball.
You're right. Illegal touch on the Giants.
Well, you know what they're going to do? They'll decline it, and they'll take the ball at the 20.
85 of the kicking team went out of bounds, came in first to touch the ball. That's a penalty that was declined. First down.
Yeah, there's that way out of bounds, too.
And can't be the first one to touch the ball. He was. Penalty declined. Bills take over at the 20. We've got a Fox NFL special coming your way Saturday afternoon. It begins with a pregame show at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, followed by the Panthers at home against the 49ers. And then Sunday, the Giants will be at the Rams, 12 noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Here's the plan Saturday.
I love those Saturday games. Sit on the couch and watch them.
No, we have to be at that game. We're doing that game. But the plan is people do their holiday shopping, then come home and watch us. On first down, Thurman Thomas gets about a yard on the play. Good job by the Giants against the run.
You think? No rushes over 10 yards the last 3 games? That's amazing.
You go beyond the slants, be underneath.
Clock running, 6:40 remaining, and the Bills with a 1-point lead. Andre Reed in motion. Flutie gets time and completes it to the tight end Bobby Collins up at the 28-yard line, short of a first down. Will bring up a 3rd and 2. Joe Pendry, the offensive coordinator, calling in the play to Doug Flutie.
Whatever they've been calling all day sure hasn't been working, especially in the run department.
4 wide receivers for the Bills on 3rd and 2. Thomas the lone setback. Flutie completes it to Andre Reed. No, it's incomplete. He dropped it on the way down. He had it and then dropped it as he was hit. So the Giants come up with a big defensive play.
As soon as this ball is caught, he's wrapped up. That's Livingston.
That's a great job by the rookie Bashir Livingston.
You know, if you give him one responsibility, if you get him out there and say, hey, cover this guy, and that's where he's strong, and that's what he did there. Stay there, matched up with his man, broke on the ball perfectly.
Chris Moore's 4th punt of the game. High kick coming down to Barber at the 28. Oh. He's brought down immediately by Darryl Porter. Earlier in the game, Barber regretted when he waved for a fair catch. This time, he wanted to return it, but Porter was there. 44-yard punt and no return. Tough to get a return on Chris Moore's punts. Great hang times.
Yeah, you get the hang time up over 4 or 5. That's when your guys are flying downfield. And when your guys run faster than 4 or 5, sometimes they're down there before the ball comes down.
Camella and Montgomery in the backfield. Collins off the play fake for Hilliard, too high. Kenny Irvin covering on the play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now to see Sean Payton now. You know, easy to measure a guy last week when you got a big comfortable lead over the Jets, and now 16-17. Now the play calling responsibility. Now it's changed. You're on the road. You need a drive. You need a drive for a score. You have to manage the clock. They come out with that first pass and they test them deep.
Barber's in the backfield. Mitchell's in motion with 3 wide receivers in. Collins goes screen to Barber with 2 blockers. Takes it outside. Slipped a couple of tackles and then is knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Picked up 7 on the play. Thomas Smith took him out. There is Sean Payton, the quarterback coach and offensive assistant for the Giants, who took over the play calling last week. And there's a Bills player down on the field, Sam Rogers, the outside linebacker. We'll step out for a moment. 5:19 to go in the 4th quarter. There's the playoff picture in the NFC. Washington is leading big late in their game with Arizona. Minnesota plays tonight. Dallas is winning. Green Bay is trailing Carolina with 6.5 minutes to go. Here's a big 3rd down play. 3rd and 3 for the Giants. Everybody out. Collins for Barber. Makes the catch. There's a flag down. And it may be against the Giants for holding. That's the Bills signaling. Let's see what Bernie Kukar thinks. Second holding penalty of the game against the Giants, and this one really hurts. It wipes out a 1st down.
Holding, 65 offense. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Ron Stone, the right guard.
He gets on Sean Bright. You know, he came down. I don't think that's a hold.
Really?
Yeah, no, he fell down, but his hands were outside. He was just leaning. It wasn't as if he grabbed and pulled and they weren't outside.
Giants have to get to the 36-yard line for a 1st down. 3 wide receivers and the tight end, Pete Mitchell. Collins under pressure to Barber through his hands, and a flag goes down.
Well, what you're going to have is illegal man downfield, first of all, with Derek Engler. What he was doing all the way down there, I don't know.
No, it's offensive pass interference against the Giants.
Offensive pass interference, 69, blocking downfield. Penalty is declined, 4th down.
Okay. It was Engler down. What was he doing there all the way down there?
Well, it's actually, what it actually is illegal man downfield. Ineligible receiver downfield. Here's 69 in the center.
Oh, yeah. He released and he's down there. I don't know what he was thinking on that play. Maynard's 5th punt of the game. Good defensive stand by the Bills. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Kevin Williams made 1-man miss. Good return up the sideline and out of bounds at the 42-yard line. 49-yard punt by Maynard. We'll check out the flag.
Engler was downfield. That was supposed to be a middle screen, but Tiki Barber wasn't open underneath, so that's why Kerry had to hold the ball. And then by the time he got open, the blockers were downfield.
Motion. The wide out on the left side offense. Penalty is declined. First down.
3 penalty flags thrown against the Giants on 3 successive plays. Bills are in good shape here at the 42-yard line. 4:42 to go, 4th quarter. Now the Giants need a defensive stand. Gash and Linton in the backfield. Andre Reed in motion. Jonathan Linton. And the Giants take him down for no gain. Maybe lost half a yard on the play. Cedric Jones led the way.
Well, you know, they know it's a rundown, too. And watch what the Giants do. 5 defensive linemen are up front here and getting the penetration. And Cedric Jones strings that thing out.
Armstead made good penetration up the middle, too. 58 yards rushing for the Buffalo Bills against the Giants' tough rush defense. Flutie looking to set up a screen. It was well covered. He buys some time, and he makes a couple of yards on the play. Ryan Phillips took Flutie out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
Timeout, New York.
Watch Jesse Armstead. Watch him sniff out this screen on Thurman Thomas.
It's a 30-second timeout.
He's with him, and he's filled. Now right here, there's so much traffic. Hamilton's over there as well. Flutie has no option but to pull it down and try to make something out of nothing.
Giants have stopped the clock with 3:48 remaining. And a big 3rd down play coming. Game 2 in most areas. You'll see the battle for first place in the NFC Central. Detroit and Tampa Bay. Both teams are 8-4. That will not be seen in the Buffalo or New York City areas.
You know, December, it's first place time. You know,
That's right.
It is the playoffs in essence.
Washington looking to go 8-5 and maintain their hold on first in the NFC East. Dallas leading Philadelphia. Indianapolis ahead of New England. Indianapolis leading the AFC East.
All
Miami
the more
and
reason
the Jets a little later on.
All the more reason both these teams can't afford to lose.
3rd and 9. Flutie in trouble. Trying to buy some time. He's got some room on the far side. And he's got a first down. Look at him go. The Magic Man.
Is this Boston College? Is this Boston College, Miami?
He finds a way, doesn't he?
Is this Canada? Unbelievable.
Timeout, New York. That's their 2nd charge timeout. The 30-second timeout.
Michael misses him. Keith Hamilton misses him.
He just kept running and running till he got enough for a first down and went down. He knew exactly where he was going. Is he like Fran Tarkenton? Probably as close as you can find.
You know, he mentioned it, and we talked to him. He said he watched Fran Tarkenton when he was growing up. He knew all about him. And, you know, if more than anything, what it is, it's guys finding a way to get the most out of their bodies. That's what he and Fran have in common. You know, refuse to say no. You know, you can't tell me I'm not going to get it done. I'll find a way.
I think we all know about his foundation, how active they are in autism. He has an autistic son. His group just put out a CD. Scrambling Man, Ramblin' Scramblin' Man.
Scrambling Man.
The Flutie Gang have been playing together 15 years. And the money going to the Doug Flutie Foundation for Autism. Now Flutie stands up and checks off and calls timeout. Play clock was down to 1.
Buffalo.
3:27 to go.
Timeout at the 30-second timeout.
Tonight on Fox, a big night begins with an all-new King of the Hill, followed by The Simpsons, an all-new Futurama, and then the file he shouldn't have opened, the all-new X-Files. It all begins at 7, 6 Central here on Fox. And that's John Fox. He does not own the network.
You know what? Talk about taking the wind out of your sails defensively. They've played great all day, doing the things that have gotten by with the backup corners. And then fourth quarter, third down, and Flutie makes something out of you, and you're running, you're chasing, you're fighting, trying to get them. That for defense, that really takes a lot out of you.
First down, Bills at the Giants 45 with 3:27 to go. Jonathan Linton, the power back, keeps going across the 40 to the 39. The rotation of backs. Antoine Smith, finesse back, has been bothered with a turf toe problem. Linton is the power runner, and Thurman Thomas is the third down back.
Well, this is why Joe Pendry has run the ball every place he's been. For these situations here, he says, well, you know, you have to have a running game in the fourth quarter. You have to be able to have a 4-minute offense to win close games, to go ahead and grind it out and pound somebody. And with Flutie in the mix as well, taking the wind out of your sails, then you come back with Jonathan Linton. There's your formula.
Flutie checking off at the line. It's 2nd and 3 for Buffalo. And it's Jonathan Linton. Slipped Strahan, and then Christian Peter took him out at the 42-yard line. A loss on the play.
Well, they stacked everybody up there too, Sam, the Giants. Everybody was on the defensive line that time.
Christian Peter, who has stepped in for Robert Harris, who's done for the season, and put on IR, and Peter has done an excellent job. And here comes another big third down play. Thing that the Giants did, they strung that play out and took him out of bounds, stopped the clock. That worked in the Giants' favor. 3rd and 6. Collins, the tight end, in motion. Blitz coming. Giants jumped offside. Thurman Thomas is brought down at around the 40-yard line, but the Giants jumped offside. Another penalty for the Giants in a key situation. Scott Gagnon, the man who jumped off.
Yeah, he did. He tried to time that blitz up on the outside, and he jumped in the neutral zone.
Offside. Defensive left end. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
They come up outside here. He's trying to time it right there, and then he gets up and he gets inside there in the neutral zone as that ball snapped.
So instead of 3rd and 6, it brings up 3rd and 1 at the 36-yard line. Joe Pendry, the offensive coordinator, yelling some last-minute instructions in. And Thomas, trying to dive forward, is short of a first down. Strahan and Hamilton do a great job of stopping Thurman Thomas.
Now, here's a decision for you. The offensive linemen, of course, are saying, go for it, go for it.
That was their third and final timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
All right, Coach, what would you do? Flutie, I think, is talking to Joe Pendry about those last-minute instructions. He was signaling a button, and Joe Pendry was pressing the button and trying to call in some last-second instructions on that last play. Giants used their last timeout.
This is what I would do. I would line up, take a delay of game, move the ball back, punt it, try to pin the Giants inside the 10. You have one of the top-ranked defenses in the NFL. You played a tight game like this, I make them go win it for you.
Well, the Bills have now brought in their power.
63 is an eligible receiver. 63.
That's Bill Conity, a center. They are 11 for 16 on 4th down conversions. They didn't make it. Linton is stopped. The Giants take over on downs.
They've had problems running the ball all day long against, especially in the inside, against the meat of that Giants defense. They gambled. They went for it here. And look at the push by the Giants defense.
Wow. Power against power, and the defense won out. Oh. Bodies flying everywhere.
You know, when you have Moore as your punter, you know, you line up and you take a delay game and you move yourself back, the ball back, and then you have room to play with, and then you punt it, you pin him inside the 10. Now they've got a field here to work with. All they need, the Giants, is a field goal.
They start from the 36 with 2:09 to go. No timeouts remaining. They do have the 2-minute warning coming up. Short to Mitchell. He's brought down at the 41. Picked up 5. Kenny Irvin took him down. Here's the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
Bills 17, Giants 16. Coming down to the final 2 minutes. Two close friends, but during the game, friendship stops as they battle for their playoff lives.
There's no such thing as close friends when it gets down to a situation like this.
2nd and 5 for the Giants at their own 42-yard line. Everybody out. Collins gets time, but nobody's open. Gets rid of it, complete to Joe Juravicius. He stayed in bounds, a big pickup down to the 42-yard line.
Well, Kerry sees he got 3 receivers over on this side, and they're all covered up. So he's got to scramble with the pressure, and he finds Juravicius freed up underneath.
He actually stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
Back at the 46, so the pickup not as big as first thought.
That's fine as long as they stop that clock.
Yeah. First down, Giants at the Buffalo 46-yard line. Collins being rushed. Incomplete in the vicinity of Tiki Barber. Pressure from Sean Price and Phil Hansen. 1:48 remaining. Ted Cottrell looks on. His defense has come up big several times in this game. He needs a big stop here.
And this is defense. This isn't a defense that blitzes much. They don't do a lot of creative things. They line up and play you.
They have 6 defensive backs in the game. Flags go down. Oben moved. Roman Oben moved with the pressure of Bruce Smith, and Oben has done a good job on Bruce Smith throughout the game.
Ball start. 72 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Couple of penalties have crept into the Giants game here in the 4th quarter.
At key times too.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it's hurt them.
Ball back at the 49-yard line of the Giants. They have to get to the Bills 37 for a first down. Incomplete, intended for Pete Mitchell. Kurt Schultz was covering on the play. With 1:44 to go. Carrie Blanchard's longest field goal this season has been 44 yards, which would mean the Giants would have to get down to about the Bills' 27. They're on their feet here at Ralph Wilson Stadium, urging their defense on. Collins throws short to Barber. Across the 40, spins down to the 37, and he's very close to a first down. Let's see where the spot is. And they stop the clock for a measurement. I think from our vantage point, it looks like he just got enough. As they bring out the chains with 1.5 to go. Barber has had a career day, his 8th reception of the game.
That really benefits them too, to get that measurement. Being out of timeouts, because you come up and it's 4th down and you don't know whether to run up, try to get the first down. You can't obviously spike the ball and save anything.
Barber 8 catches for 89 yards. Giants have a first down at the 36-yard line with a minute and a half to go. They start the clock. Collins behind Mitchell. He was open, but the pass was thrown a little behind Pete Mitchell. One final on the scoreboard. St. Louis goes to 11-2, winning in New Orleans 30-14. The #1 team in the NFC. Gary Blanchard warming up, getting some words of encouragement from Brad Maynard. Giants still need about 10 yards to put Blanchard within his range. Collins being rushed, throws it away. There was nobody out there.
I was just about to say, Buffalo has not brought blitz pressure yet. And then they line up there and they finally come off the corner with Antoine Winfield.
Bruce Smith wanted a hold from the referee. Nothing was called.
Winfield's at the top. He's coming around the side with Bruce Smith. He comes underneath Bruce.
Smith had a good argument, and the Bills could have made an argument for grounding. There was nobody in the vicinity when Collins threw that pass. 3rd and 10 with a minute 16 to go.
Here they come again.
They pick it up. Mitchell has got it. He's brought down at about the 30-yard line. Henry Jones made the tackle, and now the field goal kicking unit comes on for the Giants. This will be a long one for Gary Blanchard. It'll be 49 yards. The wind is about 3 miles an hour. It's at his back. Maynard with a hold. Blanchard is 3 for 3 in the game, and now the Bills want a timeout.
Timeout, Buffalo. That's their second charge timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Gary Blanchard is 12 for 13.
Buffalo was confused on their field goal protection, on the field goal block unit. They had 12 guys out there in the field. They tried to run one off. They were forced to call a timeout.
When they got through it over there,
Referee's mic is still open.
but there was a guy
Shut
there.
it up.
And they get right in line with
Yes, sir. We got you. He got buried back there. That's why I had no clue.
Well, I mean, the guy was 7 to 10 and running away.
Turn that thing off.
Bernie just did. We got some eavesdropping here. Little sounds of the game. Maynard the hold just at the 39. It'll be a 49-yard attempt for Gary Blanchard. His longest of the season. It's on the way. Does it have the distance? It does. It's good. Officially a 48-yard field goal. Gary Blanchard is 4 for 4 in the game, 13 for 14 as a Giant.
And all you can think about are those 2 missed field goals now for Buffalo.
That's right. Big difference in the game. Blanchard 4 for 4, Christie 1 for 3. And now the Giants have the lead. 19-17. Wow. They knew it. And now with 40 seconds remaining, Bills have 1 timeout remaining. As Wade Phillips shakes his head, and now his team will have to come up with something. But now, as good as Blanchard has been field goal kicking, that's as bad as he's been on his kickoffs. The Bills have always gotten good field position.
The last one they squibbed was out to about the 40-yard line.
Eric Moulds is now deep for Buffalo. The kick is short and is taken by Peerless Price. Across the 30. Out of bounds. Good field position for the Buffalo Bills with 34 seconds remaining.
And with Doug Flutie in the game, this thing is so far from over.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you're talking about the Bills trying to move into field goal position to win it. And they start at their 46-yard line. With one timeout remaining. Christie has made a 50-yarder in this game. With 4 wide receivers in. Flutie being rushed. Gets rid of it, and it's incomplete, and a flag goes down. This may be offensive interference.
It sure is.
Let's see, it's against Buffalo. Pass intended for Eric Moulds, who was covered by Sean Williams on the play.
Well, Flutie was trying to make that throw.
Holding, 80 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
He was trying to make that throw, and he had someone draping all over his back. And right here, Eric Moulds steps in front, pulls the defender away, and plays defense himself.
And we welcome those of you who've been watching the Washington Redskins defeat the Arizona Cardinals 28-3. Sam Rosen, Bill Moss here in Buffalo. Giants leading the Bills 19-17. Flutie running, looking for a man, gets rid of it, and it is intended for Andre Reed. It's incomplete. This has been a back-and-forth game. Buffalo took a 3-0 lead. The Giants led 6-3. The Bills led 10-6. The Giants led 13-10 at halftime. Opened it to 16-10 end of 3 quarters. The Bills scored a touchdown here in the 4th quarter to take a 17-16 lead. And then moments ago, Kerry Blanchard kicked a 48-yard field goal to give the Giants the 19-17 lead. 20 seconds remaining. Bills have 1 timeout left. 2nd down from their own 36. Flutie's pass deep, and it's incomplete. Intended for Peerless Price.
And for Buffalo, that play right there has exemplified their offense all day. And for the most part, their team. They just have not been sharp anywhere. The little things they've done, the passes have been off. The running game hasn't been in sync like it has been in the past.
Gagnon went way up, just missed tipping that pass. Here is 3rd down. Bills have to get to the Giants 44 for a 1st down. Blitz from the outside. Flutie avoids it. Throws way down for Eric Moulds. Incomplete.
Oh my.
Moulds and Lincoln were pushing each other all the way, and the official does not throw a flag on either one.
Because they were both doing the same thing. They ran down the field just shoving each other back and forth. Moulds, I thought, first of all, trying to get separation with the push-off. Watch Moulds here. His hands are on him, working him, and he just gets a push-off. I thought that was good. I thought that was good play by Lincoln.
Fans reacting after they saw it on the video screen here at the stadium. So now here's 4th and 20 with 6 seconds remaining.
Buffalo. That's their 3rd and final team timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
They are out of timeouts. They've got to get it all. Can you say Hail Mary?
And this is what it's going to be. And Doug Flutie can say Hail Mary, too.
Don't forget, many of you will see the 2nd game of our Fox NFL doubleheader with a battle for 1st place in the NFC Central Division. The Detroit Lions at Tampa Bay. Both teams are 8-4. That game will not be seen in the New York City or Buffalo areas. Finals on the board. Dallas beating Philadelphia. They are 7-6. Washington has beaten Arizona. Washington 8-5, still leading the NFC East. And Indianapolis has defeated New England 20-15 in the AFC Eastern Division battle. Here's the last play. Blitz coming from Ellsworth. He's bumped. Jones missed him. Flutie lets it fly. Here's the ball game, and the Giants intercept it. Bashir Livingston. The Giants have upset the Buffalo Bills. The two good friends will meet in the middle of the field, but the Giants with a huge win on the road in one of the toughest places to win, defeat the Buffalo Bills 19-17. The Giants go to 7-6. The Bills go to 8-5. Bob Trimble is down on the field. Bob, go ahead.
Okay, guys, thanks very much. Michael Strahan really helping your playoff hopes today with a dramatic victory with a great defensive effort.
Unbelievable. Great on both parts, man. The offense moved the ball when they had to. Kicking game came through. And defensively, we stopped them when we had to. And we needed this. Nobody gave us a chance to win it. Surprised maybe in ourselves by doing that.
And your quarterback, Kerry Collins, two games in a row.
Well, we all know that he can play. We just got to keep his head in it. And he's going to go out there and do it, keep it positive around him. And he's made everybody play better. And I don't think that's a mistake that everybody playing better because he's in there. I think it's because he's a good player himself.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back up.
All right, Bob. Kerry Collins leads the Giants to a victory, but give a lot of credit to Kerry Blanchard. He was 4 for 4 in his field goals. He kicked the game winner from 48 yards. Giants win it.
Fox Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.
Back in Buffalo, the standings are updated. The Giants and Dallas Cowboys tied for second in the NFC East, a game behind the Washington Redskins. Our Dr. Pepper play of the day, Kerry Blanchard. In the last minute, with a 48-yard field goal. He was 4 for 4 on the day. It gave the Giants a dramatic 19-17 win. The Giants go to St. Louis to play the #1 team in the NFC next week. The Buffalo Bills go to Arizona to play another NFC Eastern Division team. The Bills are 8-5. Coming up next, Detroit Lions at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, except in the New York City and Buffalo areas. For Bill Moss, this is Sam Rosen. Thanks for being with us. So long, everyone.
This is the place where champions are crowned, where legends are made, and dreams come true. You're watching Fox Sports.